What's going on all you gamers? Today I'm going to be going over my top 5 abilities that I think you should be looking out for in order to do an absolute abundance of damage to your enemies and have a lot of fun while you play. So if you want to win more and know what skills or abilities you should be looking out for, then stay tuned. That's coming up next. Welcome back everybody. Today in Rumbleverse we're back with a little bit more gameplay and I'm going to be showing you what my top 5 abilities are that I tend to look out for during those matches. Now as always, if this helps you, a like would be appreciated, and if you'd like to become a member of the channel for more of the latest and greatest gaming content, then why not hit that subscribe and bell icon or join me over on Twitter. But for now, let's look into my top 5 picks. For absolute devastation and just battering a lot of enemies at once, a Mega Cyclone is second to none. As you can see, a Mega Cyclone, chargeable AoE. So if there was an abundance of enemies just over there, right, I've just seen 2 people, so I'm going to put the combat on. Give him a little tap up. And he's gone. But if there was quite a few people in amongst this ring, the range on this is really nice. Say for example you've got 2 players together like we have here. You're going to use that and hit both of them. You can get numerous kind of hits on enemies, and that was an uncharged one. So if we use a charged one, it is such a good AoE. It really is. You can knock the absolute toffee out of a lot of players. Now coming in at number 4, we've got Dolphin Dive. Chargeable, traversal and launcher. I absolutely hated this one. I used it quite a few times. I thought it was awful. I put it down, never picked it up again during my matches and such. But then I've been testing it out and I brought a video out recently why this is actually one of the most powerful abilities in the game. But you've got to have a bit of setting up in order to use it. So what we're going to do, we're going to pop in, do that, and then we're going to jump straight into our Vicious. On its own, this skill is nothing to shout about. It does a little bit of damage, knocks them away, or you can use it as traversal like it says, but you're not really going to worry about that too much. But all in all, the fact that it can set up a second skill, so you could either do the same skill or grab yourself another one. So say for example I wanted something very high damage like a Javelin Tackle, which would be amazing. I would be jumping in, then jumping up, and I could do that, go straight into my Vicious, or like I said, come on, respawn, jump in, and then go into my Javelin Tackle, and do a massive amount of damage that way. This is probably the best skill in the game, Dolphin Dive, in order to set up a next combo move, whether it be a skill, whether it be your Vicious, or even if you can, like we've got here, we've got our super mode, so I'm going to activate that, then I'm going to go straight in, jump in, and go straight into my unblockable super. Honestly, this is just ridiculous, and as far as I can tell, you can't do it with any other skills or ability. I keep wanting to say skills, abilities in the game, and that makes Dolphin Dive kind of a little bit niche, but also very, very powerful. And one that I wanted to put kind of higher up the list. So depending on your playstyle, this may well be slightly further up. A Mega Uppercut is one of the best kind of special abilities you can get in the game. High priority and chargeable. Now by high priority, what it means is it actually comes above pretty much everything in the game actually, whereas usually it would be classed as a normal special strike. This in fact goes all the way up to power, so if you have a look at the attack priority system, it's going to supersede all of the ones below. And even when somebody's drop kicking you, where usually they would have the advantage and knock you out of your move, this one will class as both of you cancelling each other out without you taking any damage. So it's definitely a skill that's well worth knowing. And also it's probably the best looking skill in the game. In my opinion anyway, do a nice little dragon punch, looks absolutely awesome. Even if you just dive into combat and just do a little tap, it still does quite a nice chunky bit of damage, and it hits them very, very far, meaning that you could run away or you could kind of compose yourself. You've got enough time to do what you want. But like I said, this one is well worth knowing. And looks wise, you're pretty much going to look classy whenever you use that. Coming in at number 2 slot is going to be Javelin Tackle. This is just one of my favourite abilities in the game, and it seems to win me more matches than anything else. As you start dwindling down and the circle starts getting smaller, especially when it's those stages that's all about being on top of those buildings and such, which is a lot of the time late game, this is just ridiculous. And the damage it puts out, as you can see there, 528. It's pretty much the highest damage that you can get in the game, slightly above the Diamond Crusher. Not quite as much as your super, obviously, but for a skill that you're just initiating, jumping in and grabbing them, you can do some ridiculous damage. You can hit them against walls, but even better than that, especially like I said, if you're on top of a building and you do that, it's going to be lights out for them. You're going to do an amazing amount of damage and have a lot of fun with it. The only thing, it is one, like it said, it is one that can leave you a bit out in the open, and if you miss, you're going to take an absolute pasting. So make sure you get on target, make sure you hit your kind of abilities and hit your players that you're aiming for, and you'll rack up some massive kills, massive damage, and just have a look as you do it. Now coming in at our number 1 spot, and this one is probably going to get me in trouble, so if you want to rank the others above this, that is completely up to you. I am picking this one because I think it's very overpowered for what it is, and it's the easiest one to use. I have caught so many people out with this and just absolutely annihilated whole teams because they're not really expecting it. And that is this one just here. Very underrated, Atomic Punchline, the only blue that I'm going to put in this whole list, and I'm putting it top. Slow, high damage and AoE. Now as you saw, 528 was for our highest one, our very last one, and that's just massive, it really is. And that's with our damage boosted up 5 times. So if we go over here, not many people pick this up. I don't see it being used unless it's the best they can get. They usually swap it out for purples. But look at the distance on it. So if we have a little look, this one all the way from the outer circle, dive in, 480. That's with a blue. It's not a purple, it's a rare, it's blue, it does 480. But not just that, it does 480 and has a little AoE effect, meaning you can quite easily get 2 people a lot of times. So say there was 2 there, you're going to hit both of them. That's massive. It's a lot more damage than you're getting with pretty much any other skill in the game. I don't know if this one's slightly busted at the moment, but it really just does too much. Especially when there's 2 people fighting and you're just jumping in and you're doing that. You hit both of them, you get an amazing amount of damage off, you get a lot of kills. People don't expect people to use this. Also I find when running away, very often just turning around and just jumping straight back at people is enough to completely knock them out of combat. It really is one of the most powerful moves in the game currently, and I would say it probably will get toned down a little bit at some point maybe. Because if there was a purple version of this, you'd probably pick this above anything at the moment by an absolute mile. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. I have probably had the most luck with this and Javelin. Those 2 between them are just ridiculous, do crazy amounts of damage and are a lot of fun. But yeah, everyone on this list is well worth looking out for, and I'd say they're probably my top picks at the moment. Let me know in the comments what you guys and girls think. As always, for all things gaming, for all things Xbox, take care. I'll see you on the next day.